Before we kick the ball rolling, I'd like us to wait for about 5 minutes for others to join. Until then, let's watch these videos on digital transformation. Thank you for your patience, and you are once again welcome to this session. Richard Bobier is my name, and I'm glad to be your moderator for today. Join us as we delve into cutting-edge engineering tools and innovations utilizing the energy industry and how they are shaping the energy sector. Now, moving on, I'd like us to go through some housekeeping protocols. Firstly, kindly mute your microphones and use the raise hand icon if you have any questions, and you'll be called upon to speak. All questions, contributions, and suggestions can also be made in the chat. To ease the tension in the room, I'd like us to go through some SP-related questions, and I will require an answer from our audience. Exciting, right? Are you ready? Now, the first question is, mention any past female presidents of SP Ghana. Can unmute yourself or type the question, type the answer in the chat, and you'll be called upon. So mention any past female presidents of SP Ghana. Anyone?
Celestine.
Anyone?
Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Celestina.
All right. Yeah, that's correct. There's left with one more. Anyone to include that answer? One more. Can type the answer in the chat box, or further so you can unmute and answer the question. Anyone? So let me answer this question. So the answer is Celestina, as Akosia said. That's right. So our current SPE president is Sheena Osuansa, and Celestine was also a past female president of SPE Ghana. Now moving on to the next question. What is the title of SPE Ghana recent publication? Can type the answer in the chat box or unmute and answer the question. Anyone? Kindly type your answers in the chat box. Anyone? So the answer to this question is SP Ghana Insider. Now to the last question, I hope to hear an answer from our audience. Apart from the Career Guidance and Outreach Committee, mention any other committee under SP Ghana. Type your answers in the chat box. Kindly type your answers in the chat box. Apart from the Career Guidance and Outreach Committee, mention any other. Yeah, so Theophilus, one professional is right. Any other? Any other committee? Special projects. Any other committee? Yeah, so we have the D&I committee, that's the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Yeah, so yeah, Young Professional, that's YP, and D&I, that's Diversity and Inclusion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take us through the flow of the program. The first item on the list is welcome and introduction, which I've already done. The opening address will be done by the Deputy Chair of the Career Guidance and Outreach Committee, the SP Ghana. The third item is introduction of the speaker, after which a presentation will be done by the speaker. There will be a section for question and answers. In the course of the program, a link will be provided in the chat. Kindly fill the form and let us know how we can make our future sessions better. And finally, the vote of thanks will be delivered. Now, moving on to the opening address. The opening address will be done by the Deputy Chair of the Career Guidance and Outreach Committee under SP Ghana. Opening address will be delivered by Akosia Bando. Over to you, Akosia.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from. And I'm glad that we've been able to make it to join this session this afternoon. And I would like to welcome all of us to the session, a webinar on digital transformation in the energy industry. And it's a pleasure to have all of us. We know how just like digitalization is shaping our industry today. Our energy sector today is no longer an option. It's chasing us now. And now it's a necessity to drive everything that we do. We've had so many AI and data analytics and Internet of Things all running our industry now. And the way technology is shaping our industry, we have to catch up with it. So I'm glad that we are having this webinar, and I'm glad to even be a part of it to learn from Dr. Jude, very seasoned experts in this sector. So I'm excited about it, and I hope we'll all be able to gather something from this webinar, that we would understand the emerging trends, we'll know some of the challenges that we need to address, and then also know what we need to do. And then if there are any questions that you may have, I'm very sure Dr. Jude would be very open to answer all of them. And I hope you learn a lot. I'm glad you are here. So welcome, everybody. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Akosia, for this welcome address. And moving on to the man of the moment, our speaker, Dr. Jude Kwaku-Bonsu. So I would like to go through a little profile of our speaker. Dr. Jude Kwaku-Bonsu is a lecturer and researcher at the Department of Chemical Engineering in Kean University. His professional training includes a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Kean University, a master's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Cape Town, and a PhD degree in chemical engineering from the University of Witwatersrand. His doctoral work focused on the optimal flowsheet synthesis of the integrated gasification combined cycle. Before his appointment at Kean University, he played roles such as computer laboratory demonstrator at the Center for Higher Education Development at the University of Cape Town, and the Winter Camp demonstrator at the Academic Development Units at the University of the Witwatersrand. Throughout his career, he has always been fascinated with the use of software and animations, the teaching and solving of engineering problems. Due to his passion in the use of software, he teaches courses such as Computer Applications for Engineers, Introduction to Information Technology, and Computer Optimization Methods. In addition to these courses, he also teaches Chemical Engineering Thermodynamics, Chemical Reaction Engineering, and Organic and Petrochemical Synthesis. He possesses competencies in software such as Aspen Plus or HYSYS, MATLAB, General Process Modeling Systems, and General Algebraic Modeling Software. He is also the founder and patron of the Modeling Club in Kean University. This group aims to solve local problems through the use of computer-aided engineering. In its current iteration, the group embarks on activities such as software training, app development, and industry experts engagement. The group also participates in projects that uses software to analyze problems in the fields such as oil and gas, green hydrogen, bioenergy, and computational fluid dynamics. Dr. Bonsu serves as an advisor to the Kean University Artificial Intelligence and Data Science Club. This group focuses on providing members with competencies in Python-based machine learning. This group also embarks on projects such as the use of machine learning in material synthesis. As a researcher, Dr. Bonsu focuses on the uses of process integration and intensification techniques together with machine learning tools to optimize chemical engineering processes. So, as you can see, our speaker is quite delved into the digitalization, moving into AI, integration systems, and many more. I'm pumped out to hear from our speaker, and I know my audience are also too. So, Dr. Jude Kwaku-Bonsu, your audience is ready. Our audience is here and ready to hear from you. Over to you, Dr. Jude.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can hear you, Dr. Jude.
Hello, thank you.
We can hear you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Just a minute, I'll be sharing my screen with you guys. Can you see my screen?
We can say.
Does it move?
It moves.
Okay. Oh, thanks once again for inviting me. I want to appreciate the leadership of this house. I think it was Mr. Daniel Opon that contacted me. I also want to appreciate the moderator and all other executives. So as was said, my name is Jude. So I decided to put some few pictures that say something about my life. So I did spend some time in oil and gas. So for those of you in petroleum, this is Kwame, Dr. Sarkodie. We were kind of mixed when we were in third year. We were all interns at Schlumberger Technical Services in Luanda, Angola. I think Kwame was with drilling and measurement, and I was with World Services. So it feels like I am coming home, coming back to SP. Then as it was said, I studied at Clare University. So there was a time I was like, some of us, and we went through there. You can see that I do love equations. That's why I would take a picture in front of a poster with a lot of equations. So before we go on, as it was said, I am the founder of a group known as the Modeling Club, which mostly focuses on process modeling, trying to use equations and software to solve problems. So at our current iteration, we do organize trainings. We do have some website. We have a YouTube channel where we put out mostly training material. Then we've also now moved to GitHub, where we write codes and put the codes out there. Right now, we've set up some research groups where some focus on oil and gas, water treatment, because my background is chemical engineering. So I'm a bit all over the place, bioenergy, computational, fluid dynamics. So you could follow us on some of our pages. So as I said, we do training Aspen Plus, Aspen HISIS. Sometimes we do them in person. As at KNUS, we look for a venue and organize these training sections. Sometimes we also do it online via Zoom. The user or the leader will take the booth through how people work on their own computers. There are some are much more easier than others. I think after the meeting, for those of you at KNUST, we have one Dr. Bagin Yadi from University of Hong Kong. He will be taking us through a training on how to use OpenFOAM for CFD modeling. Really, CFD is very important in both petroleum, mechanical, chemical engineering. So if it happens to pique your interest, you can join us in such a training. We'll also be doing during the break a training on gas processing using Aspen HISIS to try and simulate the entire gas processing plant, which is also in the wheelhouse of petroleum engineers. So we also develop apps here and there to train our students. So this is a short video showing some of the apps we develop. This is some form of pressure measurement experiments across pipelines, where we build a digital version of our pipelines with several pressure losses devices, and the app is able to show the kind of pressure drops that will occur. We also do build, because my background is chemical engineering, prototypes of reactors and distillation columns and stuff like that. So please, if that piques your interest, you can pass by and let's have a chat. So most of these are being done by students. I think my days of serious upbuilding is coming to. And then nowadays, I rather coach the students to do it whilst I try and chill a bit. So no, I think that'll be all about the modeling club. So we're going to talk about the digital transformation of the Ghana energy sector. So I think some of us might just think, because maybe most of us are petroleum engineering, just about the rig. So it's a little more than the rig. We have the primary production, what you guys call upstream. There's also Ghana Gas. They are a midstream company. They process the gas. If you are just saying energy, power generation is part of energy. We have a lot of thermal power plants, Twin City, Tico, VRA at home, VRA at Abuaze. Also, when you guys produce the crude oil, we do have the oil refineries. Then there's also Gens Energy that does a lot of oil distribution. Then even the oil marketing companies are part of the energy sector. Please, are you guys okay with that? With not seeing my face? Hello. Is that
We'd
okay?
love to see you, sir.
Hey, you want to see my face?
Yes, please.
Let me see. Maybe that I have to Zoom. Where are you? Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, a minute. Since he said you want to see my face, I think I have to stop sharing for a minute. Okay, no, I can put the video on. Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you, sir.
So let's go back to what we were talking about in terms of the energy industry. So I think what this slide is trying to talk about is there are so many players, and they are all part of the energy industry. The oil and gas well or production companies, like the Talos being the most intensive part, but there are a lot of other players. And if you are talking about digitization, maybe we're talking about all of them. So it does span from production, separation, processing, distribution, consumption, and as engineers, we do different things. I remember when we were interns at Schlumberger, they talk about seismic analysis, gathering data, trying to decide whether the oil is there, designing, trying to put the casing, building the production wells itself, and the platform, optimizing the well, doing the completions and the services whilst we are operating. Still trying to optimize the actual operations, making sure that we get as much oil with as little resources as possible. There's some separation here and there, even on the rig, where they have liquid gas separators where so much of the water is taken out. It also includes asset integrity management, things like QHSE. It's a high risk environment, so safety is key. So these kind of tasks, they require a lot of data processing, data analysis. The data is processed, it becomes information. There might be communication between different engineers. Sometimes people may be at the base, people might be on the rig. There must be communication. And sometimes the response time must be very quick. We don't have days. The rigs are very expensive. A lot of things are rented. So the response time must be must be very short, and it's capitally intensive. So any delay in time causes a lot of money to be expended or wasted. So that's when digital transformation will come in. Excuse me, the word should be digitalization, which refers to incorporating or integrating digital technologies across all the sectors. And this is aimed at improving efficiency so that we can do things faster, we can do things with lesser resources. Reliability, things can be done with some level of consistency so that things are not always breaking down. Reducing cost, doing things cheaper, enhancing decision making and fostering innovation. So a number of tools come together to help achieve this goal. Some of that will be IoT, which is the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data analysis, cloud computing. And the whole point is be able to optimize production and maybe to be able to even fix things before they break down. Please, are we all still here?
Yes, we follow.
Yeah, every now and then I'll be asking for that. You know, when you are talking in the room and the place is very quiet, you are not sure if you are talking to yourself or you are talking to people. You know, thanks for that feedback. So we will take some of these briefly, talk about them here and there. So before we do that, I also want to talk about what I'll call the evolution of digitalization in every country. So I want to tie the two together, what we want to do in the energy sector and how digitalization changes with time. So in every country, it starts with awareness and planning. It gets to a time we all get to see that doing things on the digital scale
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I think there is a bit of a network challenge. I'm being told that there is a total blackout somewhere in the Ashanti region currently. So that is what has led to this. Our speaker will join very soon. So please let's hold on for him. Thank you.
As we wait for Dr. Jude to join us again, I'd like us to watch these videos on digital transformation.
Human beings. Digitalization is no exception. People will be one of the key enablers. For employees, this is an exciting transition, where less time will be
The future is now. Digital transformation in energy. Welcome to our deep dive into the digital transformation of the energy industry. Today we'll explore how technological advancements are reshaping this critical sector. We're going to break down these complex technologies into understandable concepts. So buckle up and let's explore the future of energy together. The future is now. Digital transformation in energy. Welcome to our deep dive into the digital transformation of the energy industry. Today we'll explore how technological advancements are reshaping this critical sector. We're going to break down these complex technologies into understandable concepts. So buckle up and let's explore the future of energy together.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen, sir.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Sorry, there was some technical. This was the last thing you heard me say.
You were talking about the evolution.
The evolution. Hello.
Yes, sir. You were discussing the
Okay.
evolution.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I said I wanted to speak slightly about the evolution of digitalization. But I'll tie it in with what I think we must do. So it usually starts with the awareness, where people decide that no, we do need this in the country or an industry. Then strategies are developed, regulatory frameworks are also developed. Then some infrastructure. So then after infrastructure, the third point is the promotion. So literacy is just knowing some basic things about a field. Then skills, actual hardcore skills. Then the third point, entrepreneurship. We try to own a part of the industry. Then when this starts happening in good quantities, entire industries may be transformed. Is okay, entire industries may be transformed. Then at maturity, there will be further improvements and what we call a culture of innovation. So much of what we're talking about today will be the promotion, the development of skills and literacy, and also the transformation of the industry. So for us to be able to participate very well, remember the previous slide, we spoke about the kind of things that we need. So definitely in the oil industry, then maybe much lesser in the marketing and the other parts. I think the same thing applies to oil processing, gas processing. There's so much data. So for every equipment, there's always an input and there's always an output. And most of this data is being generated in real time. So there's that need to be able to make sense of that data. So a good question becomes, what is the relation between this data, input and output? So big data analytics becomes very important in an attempt to digitalize our ability to analyze data, maybe real time, or even if not real time, some short response time. So for us to be able to participate, one of the things that we might be able to do will be data analysis. I'm sure we've all seen a lot of data analysis courses. So there are a lot of softwares, but it looks like the consensus is Python is the way to go. MATLAB can do data analysis. Other softwares like Tableau can do data analysis. But it looks like if one wants all the transformation that comes with data analysis, Python is the way to go. So because we are young, I don't think anybody, most of we are that old. So it means that we still have the mind, the presence of mind to still be able to learn something new. So please, if you want to learn something new, especially in terms of digitalization, one of them will be big data analysis. Another thing which is good about big data analysis is it can even be used to do what we call freelancing. That you might be able to, maybe you are not directly employed by the company, but you are a contractor. They send you their data, you analyze, you give them valuable insights. That becomes very important. Please, there are so many good courses. That's why I didn't even go out of my way to reference them. You go on Coursera, Khan Academy, even on LinkedIn. So many good courses on data analysis, Python, advanced data analysis. So by data analysis, we also mean data processing. Because remember, there might be a lot of things wrong with the data. So ability to analyze data, ability to process data becomes very important. So this might be one of the skills we will need if you want to enter the oil industry and be part of the digital sector. So the other thing will be what has come to be called the Internet of Things, which refers to a network of physical devices and software which are connected to each other. So the simplest one since not all of us are on the oil industry yet, sometimes, I don't know, there are some people at their homes, they have all these security cameras. They have these security cameras, and wherever they are able to monitor what is happening in the house. So that's a very good example of the Internet of Things. So all these equipment are connected and synced together. Please, has anyone here used TeamViewer before? TeamViewer. Has anyone used TeamViewer before?
Yes, I've used Teams.
Oh, you use TeamViewer. So you see how you're able to use TeamViewer. So there might be a machine at the office place, and that machine might be faster than your personal laptop, or maybe even the software. The company is not allowing you to bring the software home. They didn't install it on your personal laptop. So with TeamViewer, what that does is you install the software both on your machine and the machine at the workplace, and wherever you are, you're able to access the machine, use everything. There are different types. I think when I was checking today, I saw AnyViewer. There are so many types where you can remotely access a computer wherever you are. So the IoT is a bigger version of that you don't just access computers. You're able to access other devices. So what that could mean is a person could be at home in the oil industry, and they will still be able to operate an equipment at work. Either the oil industry, the refinery industry, wherever you are. So they have some courses. So clearly it depends. So it means that this is more than just computer science. It's also computer engineering, where chips are being placed into all these devices so that they are being connected to each other. So as petroleum and I don't know, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, petrochemical engineers, I think the way we will be able to really assess this will be to just know how to, I don't know, log in. So there are a lot of there are some programs out there which shows you how to create one machine from the other. But just in case you are not in that place yet, at least start using TeamViewer. I don't know, connect your laptop to a desktop at work or a desktop at some office and try and operate it from one place to another. So yeah, AI and machine learning, something that I have much more experience with. So this AI, they are called large language models. So what this means is that the people that developed it, they had a lot of input and output data with some serious logistic models, and they were able to train the input data with the output data. And what the model has become is it has been able to pick up relationships between the inputs and the output. So because it's able to generate new data when the right inputs are there. So yeah, there are different types: transformers, adversarial networks, diffusion models. Some are being used to generate images. Autoencoders, they generate data. They can learn, I don't know, small data. So usually when you are doing machine learning, you need a lot of data, and you might not have it. Maybe the experiment is very expensive, so you don't have all the data that you need. You're able to run, I don't know, only just 30 experiments, and they might not be enough to train your machine learning model. So what variational autoencoders are able to do is they're able to pick up the relationship between the input and the output data, and they're able to generate similar data. They're able to generate similar data, and that helps a lot in scenarios when we have limited data. So that's mostly AI, trying to generate new images, trying to find relationship between variables. The machine learning, which is mostly used for prediction, different forms of prediction. Also tries to find relation between inputs and outputs. So usually there is some form of training. So there are different versions: artificial neural networks, convoluted neural networks, k-nearest neighborhood. So based on what we are doing, and this one, there are so many courses. And now the new thing that is coming is what they call assistants. So what the assistants do is it's usually built on top of a large language model, let's say like a ChatGPT, something from Anthropic. Then what these assistants do is they're able to train the AI to what we call domain-specific knowledge. So let's say you are petroleum engineers, and what you do is reservoir analysis. So now you're able to use reservoir data. You build something on top of ChatGPT, which helps it study reservoir data better. So it looks like this might be the most useful form for engineers. Like whatever we want to develop our flow sheets. So it's not just typing in and typing out. We want to be able to solve problems in our area. So what we do is we build an application on top of the AI and feed it with the right data so that it's able to gain our domain-specific knowledge. So, so an example of that is what people have been using to synthesize new material. So this paper was published from someone from my other group, the group which I advised. For that group, Prof. Luke Achini, who is also Ghanaian, but he's lived in the US for a very long time. So because he's a materials engineer, they were able to build an app on top of the AI. And the app was known as Tailored Crystal Graph Convoluted Neural Networks. So that it was based on a convoluted neural network. But now it was trained to be able to study crystallography, which is a field in material science. So if we are going to be able to really use this for engineering purposes, this might be the way that we learn how to build an assistant. So let's say, I don't know, we build some small rig on a large language model. We build a small rig on a large language model so that now the AI becomes much more of an expert in just, let's say, the mechanisms of the rig operation. Please, are you still here?
Yeah, we are here, sir. We are listening to you.
Okay, no, thank you. So optimization. So I also have a background of optimization. So optimization is when you have a lot of options and it's not so clear which option will lead to the best solution, using a set of mathematical algorithm to find the best possible outcome. So this requires some form of what you call domain knowledge. So you have to understand the field a bit. So if it's petroleum engineering, if you guys are petroleum engineers, so you already understand, I don't know, the rig, you know, that maybe pressure affects recovery. I have limited knowledge in petroleum engineering. I'm much more of a chemical engineer. So you know the variables that affects the desired output, like the thing that goes into the costing of a rig. We use mathematical equations, or we train an ANN model to develop a relationship between the output, the desired output, and the input. Is that okay? Then after that, we can optimize it to get which combination of parameters will lead to the best solution. So when optimization started, it started using what we call deterministic models, something which was based on gradient and calculus and stuff. But now with the advent of AI, we have what we call stochastic models, things like genetic algorithm, things like simulated annealing. So they are able to optimize AI models better. The old types of optimization techniques, they are much better with the optimization of normal equations, like normal functions. So when I'm done, I will switch to my screen and show some few softwares and apps. So one company, I think Siemens purchased this software that I used for my PhD. It was known as GPROMS, General Process Modeling Software. And I've seen videos where separation on the rig is being optimized in real time. So the data comes from the rig. The models are built on the GPROMS software or platform, and optimization can happen. So please, as young people, that's one of the things that we should really understand. If we are designing something and we are not designing it to be the best, then what is the point of designing anything which is not operating at the best point, or at least attempt to get to the best point? So yeah, some coding. Hopefully everybody here knows some coding. Please, no one will be able to participate in the digital transformation if you don't know some coding. No, I'm sure there are enough softwares which is just what we call it has a GUI, graphical user interface. So you just put some few things in there and you press. But please, that one we can teach everyone. I'm sure we can even teach people from general arts. Because remember, there's an interface and you just have to tell them to put some values here and press. So I really think our major advantage as engineers is our ability to write scripts on our own, our ability to understand problems and write some scripts. So please, that is very important. If you want to be able to be part of this digitalization, you must be able to do some coding. And what I want to say here is that, for me, all languages are the same. So the first day I taught MATLAB at KNUST, I'd never used MATLAB. I was using GPROMS. All I needed was the syntax, because when it comes to programming, the structure is almost always the same. Because remember, they call it a language. So what difference is the syntax? Like, how do we do multiplication? So one is using product, one is using something else. So please, we shouldn't wait. Whatever software we have, we should start using that to learn some form of coding. If you become very good in Visual Studios, you will not struggle to go to Python, you will not struggle to go to MATLAB, you will not struggle. Of course, you struggle a bit when you go to C. Yeah, C looks very dense. Is that okay? Most of what we call the high-level languages, they are all very similar. So let's try and gain competence in one, and it's very easy to switch to others. I've seen students that we taught MATLAB, and the best MATLAB students, they're able to learn Python in a very short time. They're able to learn VB in a very short time, because what changes from software to software is the syntax, not the general idea. So now I want to be bringing my presentation to an end, and I have some few thoughts. So the first point I want to bring to our attention is the energy industry is more than the oil and gas. So from my experience with most of these oil and gas companies, they usually have their own softwares from their parent company. Because we had Schlumberger at 2009, and even around that time, it was pretty digitized. Like, there was a lot of information that was being shared all over the place. So I think in Ghana, some of the places that needs most of the digitization will be maybe our oil marketing companies, your Zain Energy, your Unity Energy, some of these small petrol and gas stations. So sometimes I think the younger generation, because I'm slightly older than most of you, your heart is at the right place, but you never want to start small. So please, sometimes the way you might start with your digitalization is you try and convince that filling station manager that you can do something to help their system. You shouldn't always think about, I don't know, I want Ghana Gas to buy my software. Please, I'm telling you the truth. It will be very difficult for that to happen. It will be very difficult for Carlo to buy a software from you. So we should start small. But sometimes we look down on these filling stations. But if you think of it very well, that is a part of the energy sector that belongs to Ghanaians. Most of these filling stations, at least the owners are Ghanaians. When it comes to the bigger stuff, it is usually owned by foreigners. So please, let's also think about regulators. Places like, I don't know, NPA, Ghana Standard Authority. Is there a way we can digitize? Because they are all part of the energy chain. It is nice. I know everybody wants to be at Schlumberger and Tullow, but please, it might not always happen that way. Sometimes we may have to go to Ghana Standard Authority, Petroleum Commission, GNPC. So when you go there, the people there, most of them are much, much older. So when you go there with your small programming skills, you become a hot cake. Is that okay? And please, the other thing I want to talk about is we should also think about ownership, not just usage. I think so much right now we are so much into the usage. We must think about owning some part of this thing. It's one of the reasons why our country is not developing. Yeah, we should learn how to use the most complex softwares, but we should also, I don't know, endeavor to build miniature versions which will be owned by us. So it's possible that you are working at Schlumberger, but you have developed some small software for Unity or Zen or any of these smaller companies. So please, because we are young and we'll be here for a very long time, remember I showed you something about the evolution. One of the major steps in the evolution is ownership. Unless we own a part, I don't think we are really integrated in this digitalization. And also, if you are new, the price of entry must not be too steep. So if you are now going to learn, I don't think you should go and learn the most hardest software. It might discourage you. Are you with me? I want to share something on my computer. Like, as me, you have never done machine learning before, you have never done ANN before, you want to start ANN. Where I think you might be able to start from. That might help you. So I'm going to share something on from my computer. Please, can you see my MATLAB screen?
We can see your screen, sir.
Yeah. So as you've never done machine learning before, you don't know anything about ANN. We all know that maybe Python is more advanced than MATLAB. But maybe you yourself, your Python is poor. So I'm going to type NN start. Is that okay? In MATLAB. So when I type NN start, what do I get? So you see, hello, please, can you see the GUI?
Yes,
Or you can just see the MATLAB screen.
Yes, we can see.
You can see the GUI too. Do you see the welcome to neural network?
Yes, please.
So you see, so let's say I want to do fitting. So you can see that learning from this way, especially if you're not very good with computers, will be much. Please, do you see the next thing? Do you see the neural fitting tool on my MATLAB computer? Hello?
Hello, yeah, I see the fitting up.
You see the fitting up. So you see, next. Then let's say even the data, if I don't have data, it looks like they have some example data there that I can use to start learning something about neural networks. Are you with me? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is I think starting this way, right, might be easier than saying everybody is doing Python, so I should also do Python. Is that okay? So let me go back to my presentation. So we don't always have to start with the most complex thing. I don't believe that. I think we just need a starting point. And after we get a starting point, we can continue from there. So the entry point shouldn't be too steep for you when we're new user. You must look for the most simplest way. And when you understand the concepts, you can move to much more complex and much more advanced softwares. So also I said put your hand where your mouth is. So let's say you are in third year. In final year, you do a project. Sometimes your supervisor gives you a chance on what the project should be. Please, if you want to go into digitization and AI, maybe you should choose a project in digitization and AI. Is that okay? If you want to go into digitization and AI, maybe you should choose a project in digitization and AI. So that by the time you are applying for a job, you already have some experience in this thing. Most of the time, the Kenya University students will choose something simple because they want to graduate quickly. And when they graduate, they will now be saying that their interest is in that field. If your interest is in that field, why didn't you try something there? Are you with me? So please, still on that story of simplicity. I think we gave up on Excel too quickly. Excel is still a very advanced software. Using VBA, you can do a lot of programming. Remember, I even spoke about optimization. So if you wanted to start optimization, you didn't know where to start from. I'm going to show you where you can start from optimization when it comes to Excel. Is that okay? So I'm going to share some Excel sheets. And please, how many of us have used Excel Solver before? Can you see my Excel sheet?
Can see the
Yes,
sheet.
Yeah, how many of us have used Excel Solver before?
some of us have been able to use it.
Excel Solver.
Yes, sir, some of us have been able to use it.
Okay, nice. So for those of us who
But
have
not every one of us.
for those of us who have not, you can go to data. Then you see that this guy is there, Solver. When you click on it, please, do you see the new pop-up that has come?
Yes, we see it.
Where you see that you can maximize or minimize by changing. You can add variables. So if you are now starting, of course, if you are advanced, you can write scripts. The other softwares which are very good, like GAMS. So of course, because Solver is kind of free and it's added to Excel, it has a limited. There's a limitation on the number of variables which it can be used for. But still, if someone is starting to do optimization, maybe using Excel Solver might be the place to start with. There's another software here known as GAMS. So that is if you're a little more advanced. So I'm going to share my screen with you too for you to see how GAMS looks like. So please, you might get some of these things on the wherever you get your softwares. I'm not recommending that do anything. I'm just telling you that you can get it wherever you get your softwares. So GAMS is the short form for General Algebraic Modeling System. So yeah, it's also used to do optimization. Please, can you see my GAMS interface?
Yeah, we see the interface.
Yeah. So yeah, by the time, so maybe step by step, after you perfect your usage of Excel optimization, then maybe you can jump to MATLAB optimization. Then when you are strong, maybe GAMS optimization. Is that okay? So yeah, there's so much that you can do with. And there's also, what's the name of that thing? Is it Jirobi? So there's also Jirobi, Pyomo.
Jeremy,
That one means
Pyromi,
that you are strong
Cplex.
with with the coding. Jirobi is free. Okay, at least they have a free version for students. And most of these softwares, they do a lot of free training. So MATLAB, they always have, I think they do 2 MATLAB expos in a year. And if we are minded to, we'll be able to learn a lot from that. So, please, I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jude, for this wonderful presentation. Can I see your reactions if you are enthused by the presentation? Let me see your reactions. So I have really learned a lot from this presentation, and I strongly believe my audience also has as well. So key takeaways I took from this presentation was to join the digitalization, you need to start coding. Whether MATLAB, Python, you need to start coding. And moving on, talk of data analysis. So with data is the key to the digitalization in the energy industry. Before you can come up with an AI, machine learning models, you need data. And that's something I think we should focus on. With Africa, we don't actually have a data set at the moment. So we actually use that. That's why we are not into those digitalization methods. But I think if we adopt those methods, we can stay a little bit ahead. Yeah. Now moving on to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and be allowed to speak. Or further still, you can type them in the chat box. Anyone? I know you have questions, so you bring them up. You can type your questions in the chat box, or can raise your hand and be allowed to speak. Yeah, so Manuel, can we have it? Kuma, go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Jude, please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Please, Dr. Jude, I was really happy when you said the energy industry is beyond oil and gas, but then it goes a long way into ownership of digital tools. And so my question is, how can organizations in developing countries such as Ghana effectively leverage digital transformation with this infrastructure and then resource limitations we have? How can organizations in Ghana leverage digital transformation? Thank you.
So please, if you say organizations, are you talking about maybe some of these other companies?
Yes, like how we have China and the US battling with development in artificial intelligence. And so how can organizations in Ghana as a developing country leverage these digital transformation tools to apply them in processes, specifically in the energy industry?
Okay, no, thank you. So my answer will be, we always have to start small, right? We always have to look out for some niche areas where we can apply. So the Indians and the Chinese, when they started, you know what they were doing? What the Indians and the Chinese were doing is, they always produced, let's say, an Indian version of an already existing American software, right? So they'll produce an Indian version of already existing. So a good example would be, there could be Aspen, and there could be something equivalent to Aspen just for Ghanaians. Are you with me? So what that means is we are not going to be able to sell that one because it's not as advanced as the world number one. But at least it will be good enough for us to use. Then once we are training more people, so the other thing about this AI is we also need more brains So any software, like all things being equal, if 100 people work on one software and 2 people work on another software, the one that 100 people work on will be better than the one that 2 people worked on. So the other thing also is we need a lot of people to be competent for us to be able to compete. So I think we should start from developing miniature versions of software which already exist and using them locally and being content with that. But then we should be committed to continuous improvement. So as we do that, and sometimes there are some problems which are uniquely ours. Like one of such problems would be, apparently, we always lose oil or petrol when we are moving from Accra to, let's say, Kumasi. Is that okay? Is there a way we can build something small that monitors that for us? I think there was a time, was it Tor? They were storing petrol and apparently it expired. Could we have formed a project from that? So that can there be some sensors on our tank farms that tries to measure, I don't know, some of these physicochemical properties of this oil to help us forecast when this oil is going to go bad. So I think we should start small. We should start just by copying what is already there. Then as we improve them, I think we also become competent. That's how the Asians did it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Now we have some questions in the chat box. I'll read the first one. That's from Eraquia. Her question is, how does AI and optimization link to logistics and supply chain? How does AI
optimization link to logistics and supply chain?
Yeah.
So when we started learning optimization, as young men, some of the problems we were solving would be there are 4 or 5 different sources of this raw material. This one has this price, but the cost price of this is maybe $10, but the transportation cost is a little more. Try and build a model that gives the most optimal supply strategy. So optimization was literally built for supply chain. When you have, I don't know, different warehouses, different places where you can buy this thing from, different costs of storage, different forms of transportation costs. Then you try and aggregate a model from it. So you try and aggregate something like a cost model. So if the person is in supply chain, one of the best softwares might be the Jirobi software. Because Jirobi speaks for itself as optimization for businesses. So it can be used to optimize where we buy from, whilst we incorporate things like transportation costs and stuff like that. And what AI can help us do, if I think about it very well, like it's good modeling, or maybe finding out if there are other sources. Like I don't know right now, I'm a supply chain manager, and I knew, I don't know, only 4 places of buying this thing. I can leverage AI to, I don't know, identify new sources of supply. Then with some mathematics, with some machine learning, I can develop a model for my supplies, then optimize it with maybe some form of stochastic model, something like a genetic algorithm model. I don't know if I've answered the question well, well. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. The next question is, how do we blend the digital tools from the automotive sector and the petroleum industry?
So automotive being cars and stuff. So clearly, some of the most simplest version would be tracking. Is that okay? Some of the easiest ways will be being able to track the cars, and also, I don't know, setting up platforms, if the automotive industry, setting up platforms where people, so can I buy a car? Would I be able to see the car without coming to your shop? Are you with me? Can we build a digital model of the car? Like build a model which shows the whole car. Can I test the speed of the car without actually driving the car? These are just ideas. Of course, it will take serious coding to be able to totally, but of course, with AI, I'm sure we'll be able to do it. You build a computer model of the car so that you can simulate the car without even having to go there. I don't know, can I compare two cars? So there's this idea in visualization known as the digital twin. Can I build a digital version of that thing that I'm selling in your shop so that I don't have to come to your shop? Like, assume the car is being built in Germany, so maybe it's optimized for German conditions. Is there a digital version of the car so that, I don't know, I can run it through maybe the Ghana weather to see how the car will fare under these Ghanaian conditions? So, if we allow ourselves, those are some of the things we can do. Of course, some of the easiest things will be people able to buy cars without even going to the shop. Be able to see everything about the car. Is that okay? Then the petroleum industry, yeah, almost everything, data analysis. I remember we used to be at World Services, and when the pressure in the world was going down, we would go and pump some nitrogen or something in the well. I don't know, can there be sensors down there that collect the data? Can there be sensors down there that collect the data and send it so that in real time we are using other computers? Because remember, the rig is a very high pressure environment. Can we be in a relaxed office and receive data from the rig and work on it? Can I be here? Let's say we are not petroleum engineer. Let's say we are working from the oil refinery. Can I sit here and assess the oil refinery, their process, and talk to them and give them advice? Or do I have to go there first? So these are all the ways in which we can, some form of virtual reality. So please, some of the young people here, you should get aggressive in trying to build 3D versions of plants. You shouldn't always wait for people from abroad to come and do it. There's this app known as a Blender. When you go there, you're able to get you're able to get some basic things which you can put together. So I don't know what is a rig. It's a rig post which has a plate on it. Of course, it will take some serious coding, but we have time. You are 22. You're going to be alive for like to 80. You have 60 years to do this. So please, we should put time into that. Generating, I don't know, 3D models of the rigs and oil refineries, so that we can even train people here. We don't have to take people to Ghana Gas before we train them. Assuming we had a digital version of Ghana Gas at KNUST. What that means that we can train them here. So before they go to Ghana Gas, they know 80% of the stuff. So those are some of the ways we can apply it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Are there any questions to add? Yeah, so the next question is, what is the link between digitalization and the petroleum industry?
So in a way, there are two different. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to incorporate digitalization into the petroleum industry. So when we say digitalization, is trying to use computers to do things. So we are trying to, through the use of computers, make the work in the petroleum industry easy. Like what I was just saying, like virtual reality training. Remember, I'm sure most of you, how many of you, I'm talking about the students, have been able to go to the oil rig? How many of you have been able to go to the oil rig as a student? So maybe no one. But what if we could build a digital rig so that you go there and you wear that whatever glasses, the virtual reality glasses, then you are on an oil rig. Then you are taking decisions. When you make a mistake, you don't die. You just get a shock using the haptic device. Please, can we see how this can improve training in the oil industry? Is that okay? So another good example is I said in my slide asset integrity management. So there's a lot of corrosion. So they do a lot of corrosion prevention there. So I don't know, can there be cameras that takes the pictures and analyze so that we know when an equipment is about to fail? So that we don't wait for it to fail, for people to, I don't know, get hurt before. So there used to be two things, but it becomes clear that since computers are usually much faster than humans, if computers are made to help humans in their work on the oil industry, it will become easy and faster. No, thank you. That's if I've answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Our next question is from Edwin. How can optimization be used to improve farming in an area where the major problem of poor yield is rainfall? And how is it possible to build sensors from scratch?
Build sensors. So please, I'm sure that is more of electrical and electronics engineers. Of course, it's still you want to do, you can do. Everybody here is smart enough. Anything that you want to do, you have never studied electrical and electronic engineering. If today you say you want to learn how to build sensors, you'll be able to. Because I'll come back to the first question later. But sometimes the other thing about engineers, we have to work together. We have to maybe petroleum engineers, agricultural engineers, chemical engineers. So somebody is good with electronics, somebody is good with material manufacture. So I think a sensor is always some form of material that gives different electrical signal based on intensity. So yeah, though it's not my forte because I'm a chemical engineer and mathematical optimization and synthesis engineer. But yeah, so sometimes what you might do is you might have to, if you want to build it from scratch, I don't know, you want to cut the material yourself, you might have to look for the right material that is used. Then some wiring. So yeah, this is some deep electronics and electrical engineering. But if you want to do that on your own, you'll be able to do it. And that kind of optimization to be used to improve farming and stuff. So that might come from some form of data analysis. Data analysis here being maybe based on rainfall patterns in the past. We are able to predict how the rainfall will be this year. And maybe based on that, we plant our things in that way. And there's also, is the word mnemonics. So yeah, there's some guys in the US who they do what they call drip irrigation. So they don't just scatter the water. There is some, like the farming is almost happening indoors. So a lot of calculations have been done, and I don't know how easy that will be for poor farmers though. And the water is being supplied as drips to the root of the trees and the plants. And also remember the sunlight. I'm sure that remember the electromagnetic spectrum. Not everything in there is needed for the photosynthesis. So also they're able to use the right kind of light. We expose the right kind of light to the plants so that they grow. So I think the most simple answer would be, can we predict rainfall patterns every year based on historical data? Can we use machine learning to do that? And based on that, can we derive agriculture policy based on that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other questions? Can raise your hand and you'll be called upon to speak, or further still can type it in the chat box. If there are no questions, I'll move on to my question. So, sir, with the rise of automation and digitalization, will the traditional roles in the energy industry change?
The simple answer is yes. And the other thing, it has always changed. it's not only automation automation that has changed. It has always changed. It's always in flux. So as engineers, we must always be able to relearn. Please, are you with me? We must always be able to relearn. So of course, I don't think that day is ever coming when human beings will never be needed in the energy industry. I don't think that day is coming. But the whole point is the nature of work will always change based on technology. So sometimes based on digitization and whatever, we might need less people. But remember, the main thing the digitization is doing is to help us with the information. Of course, it may be automated, especially now with robots and everything. But we will still need people around. Just that, yeah, the nature will definitely change. So maybe, yeah, later in life, instead of you being the guy that analyzes the data, you might be the guy that writes the script, that analyzes the data. So there will always be some changes here and there. But other things, sometimes the changes too are slow. Because sometimes when you have an already existing setup, which was already expensive, you might not just want to interfere with it. Is that okay? So also sometimes companies are conservative, if I should use that word. Because sometimes when there's a new technology, you are not sure whether it will work or not. So sometimes even when there's a new tech, companies take their time, right, for it to be tested by other people. And when they are very sure that it will, that's when they will switch. So I think it will change, but it will not change as fast as people think it will change. As we change, there's always going to be some change.
Thank you very much, sir. If there are no other questions, move on to. So a link has been provided in the chat box. Kindly fill the form and let us know how we can make our future sessions better. And talking of future sessions, our next webinar will be on the topic Technical Specialization Dialogue. That will be on subsea, completions, and production. We'll be delving into the various career paths in each division. And we hope to see you in the next section. Lastly, the vote of thanks will be done by Engineer Steven Fokio. Over to you, Engineer Steven.
All right, thank you, Richard, and good day, everyone. All right, so on behalf of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Ghana section, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to everyone for joining us today for this insightful webinar on digital transformation in the oil and gas industry. Special appreciation goes to Dr. Jude. We thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge and expertise. Your presentation on the role of digitalization, modeling, and how computer-aided engineering tools has taught us a lot, and it has given us a clearer perspective on how technology presently is shaping the future of energy, especially in the local economy, talking about Ghana and Africa. And you went as far as talking about the global economy and how the digitalization is affecting the global economy as well. We truly appreciate your time and efforts that you dedicated into enlightening us. We are so much grateful. And to our attendees, we thank you so much for your active participation and your patience amid the few challenges that we had. We thank you also for your engaging questions and your enthusiasm. Your presence has made this session a great success. We hope that the insight that we have gained today would empower you to adapt to the digital advancements in the industry and as well position yourselves for the future. So a big thank you to everyone from the organizers to you, the attendees who are here today. Your dedication and hard work have ensured that we have had a seamless impact in this session. So as we are wrapping up, let's continue on the conversation beyond today. Let's stay connected with SPE Ghana for more enriching programs, and let's continue to network and have industry-related discussion. Once again, thank you for being a part of this session, and we look forward to seeing you in our future events. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you all
Over
very
to
much
you.
for. All right, sir.
Bye.
Bye.